Hey everyone, welcome to Hey I'm Listening. My name is Dr. Joan Samuels Dennis, and I'm here with my guest for today, Marsha Miller. Marsha is a financial advisor. She is working with Primerica. She is the mother of two beautiful children, the wife of Dave. She is a pastor at Transformation Church in Toronto, and she's currently studying to be a transformation coach. Marsha, it's good to have you with me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Joan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So Marsha, tell us all, what gets you out of bed every morning? What are you passionate about?
World change. I'm joking. Don't we all want to see the world change? For me, though, it's about helping people who've actually gone through trauma like I have. And kind of giving them hope that there is really a light at the end of the tunnel. And that light is through Jesus. No, I don't want to inundate you with the Jesus message, because I know everyone has heard it. But for me, though, why is it impactful is because through Jesus,
yes,
through the love that he allowed others to show me, even while I was hurting,
yes,
I was able to come through depression. I was able to come through deep anxiety, which was totally debilitating.
yes,
I was insecure and afraid.
yes.
But through my healing journey and my story, I'm hoping to be able to help little boys and little girls who are traumatized, whether it is sexually or physically or emotionally, have hope. And the hope is through forgiving, but also in finding purpose. So that's what gets me out of bed.
That's awesome. So, one of the things that I was reading in Romans 8 this morning, and there was like a new awareness that came, There was this one line, and it talked about the spirit of life, and that the spirit of life comes to us through Jesus Christ. It gave me this whole different understanding and awareness that transformation is really all about becoming Christ, not becoming like Christ, but becoming Christ like on the planet. And I believe that over the next 30 years or so, there is a fundamental work that we, the builders, have to do in order to usher in a generation that can have this new understanding that the spirit of life is really all about transformation. And there was something else that happened for me this morning where I was like, it is through the suffering that we become enlightened. It is through the suffering that the spirit of life brings us back from death. You call yourself the overcomer, right? You call yourself the woman who has triumphed. And so talk to us about where you're coming from when you talk about some of those hard times, those moments that really have caused you to say, I want to die. And then the spirit of life to bring you back to that place, where you look like Christ and daily. So talk to me about what that journey's been like.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to pretend, but the tears are actually coming. I'm really emotional. See, at the age of 6, so just to set it up for you, I am the daughter of a pastor. Really strict upbringing, okay? Wasn't allowed to be outside. I wasn't allowed to go to parties, but I would go with my father and my mom everywhere, church, everything, church, right? And so I'm 6 years old. And prior to being 6, I have an experience where my teacher, I was a chatty kid. I guess I still am a chatty kid. And I was supposed to be working, but my teacher beat me. She was my cousin. But my skin at the time didn't heal quickly enough. And so my father saw it and he was angry. So he took me out of that school. I'm on this journey. I'm walking someone home. I see a member of my church, a young man, a bit older, maybe about 14, 15. I'm 6. He calls me and I went naively into the space where he was, and he sexually harassed me and molested me. Actually, I was raped in that moment. And then I kept the secret. And then that secret started to eat inside of me. I started hearing the failure message. No one can love you. You're spoiled. You are good. You're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally started to die, right? I didn't share with anyone. And then years later, I hear a story about a close friend of mine being raped again by the same individual. At that time, I spoke to my parents and I said to them, hey, that thing that happened to that girl, that also happened to me. And then they confronted the parents of the young man, but they were a member of the church. And so they didn't want to bring the wrath or the bad name on the church. So my incident was like tucked under the rug, but then I dealt with it. And I went off to boarding school. And I was dealing with the insecurity. I was dealing with the fears of, not being loved, not being accepted. What if my parents, well, they did find out, but like, what would other people think? And I guess the self-hate message came at that time. And I just wanted to die. And then years later, I was also molested by a family member's husband, right? And that one still is troubling, but I've been going through the forgiveness process. But the thing is, I wanted to die, but then God sent a friend who was like an angel to me, and she spoke life into me. And the language she used was love. It wasn't preachy, it wasn't condemnation, but it was love. And I think so often we forget what the church means is to come from love. I think Jesus's example here was love. Like, he conducted himself in love. He treated those that were in sin with love. And that's how he really transformed others. So the transformational message really is love, right?